Todd Bravo here again. This is for Digital Tools 2. This is my series of app intros. They're not really demos. And now I want to work on lighting apps. And these are some of my favorite apps. The ones that you're going to see today, some of them I've used for years. Some of them I have just downloaded today. But just want to show you what I sort of use and what I like. First one I'm going to show you is LX Handbook. LX Handbook is one of, it's just a great reference book. So if you're trying to find information on different lights, it works really well with, say, moving lights. If I go to Vari-Light, moving lights, I happen to own the VL1000s. So it tells me great things like what is the power consumption. So it's 1100 watts. It's DMX channels in, it can be 19 or 27 depending on which mode you're in. And the cool thing is it has a manual at the bottom you can click on. Now this is part of the old standard manual, and they do have a premium manual. I've tried several times to try to figure out what it costs or how to get it, and come to find out it's really difficult. I still haven't figured it out. I've tried for a while, half an hour one day, trying to figure out going to the website, and the company that owns it is now Crescent Software. They've been makers of software for years. They made SoftPlot, and I think they know they sold SFX for a while. But like I said, I'm having trouble. Maybe somebody else can figure it out. It's not a positive or a negative, just having trouble figuring out what it would cost for that premium library. Library is not the only thing it does. Connectors is one of my favorite things. Is if you want to find out what pins you wire a DMX terminator or do you make a DMX terminator to, it'll show you how you wire a DMX or wire a SFX, depending. It's also got a lamp guide, which I haven't used that much, but if you need to find stuff about theater studio lamps, we'll go HPL Long Life. You can find some basic information about those there. They do have console information here too in the regular library section. You can also get an add-on for electrical formulas and some other things, and a gobo and beam calculator. I just haven't purchased those yet. I purchased the formula one a few years ago when it was a separate own app by itself, and I just haven't brought myself to purchase that again, and I just haven't felt a big need for it. So that is LX Handbook, one of my favorites. The next set of apps I want to show you are color apps. Now this is Swatch. It was originally made by Wibron, and then they, when they went under, they released the app to another company. But it's been around forever. It's got an iPad, and I think there's just one version now, but it works on the iPad. It works on the phone as well. But you can choose your color here, and I just have to choose my second color. But here's Ferrara Red. The cool thing is it'll show you what colors there are down at the bottom, but it'll show you the complement. So what it's suggesting is if you take that red and that green and you put them together, you're going to mix to white light. Now, that's kind of tough just because I would never use those colors, but it tries to show you what the complement is as well. Some of the other cool things is you can actually send it through your camera and show you what things look like. This just happens to be the front of my desk. It looks like you can choose a picture from the gallery as well that you can put over as well. So I have a picture of a white model here. So here's a picture of the white model in those two colors. You can save yourself some projects, and you can make favorites, which is kind of fun. And like I said, if I'm picking color, I'm going through this. I know the gels well enough that I have a good sense of what it's really going to look like, but this is close enough that it really helps. And the thing I like about this is it's all the manufacturers. It's not all. It's a lot of the main manufacturers in one, which makes it just a little easier than going to a bunch of different apps. But if you don't want to do that, you can also go to Lee. Lee has their own app, which is kind of nice. It's got a lot of good color information in it as well. Stagecraft is another one that you can use. If you click on a certain light, it will give you more information about that particular gel. Show Swatch Tools is another one, and I'm going to show you another tool that's made by the same manufacturer here in a minute. But again, same sort of thing. Gives you some different ones, gives you some complementary color choices, which I just think that's such a great, particularly if you're beginning learning lighting. You find that nice amber, you want to find out what cool is going to go well with it. Again, there's always suggestions, so it's worth looking at, I think. All right, so those are the gel apps. Let's just show you some other apps. First one I'll show you is this is Show Tools LD. You can do things like beam calculations on that. gel cuts, how many cuts you can get out of each one. It's got a dip switch app and some power calculations, a good all-in-one. This one's a couple dollars, but I think it's well worth it. Haven't used it a ton, but I do think it's worth getting. That one app that I use just a ton, it's in my everyday lighting use. I use it on the phone more than I do probably here, but is DMX Calc, one of the first calculator apps that came out, one of the first DMX apps. The gentleman who made this actually makes a lot of other software. He wrote the Lightright software, which I'll tell you about in a minute. Not Lightright itself. I'm sorry, he wrote the Lightright Touch app originally. And then I've been using his app since on Palm Pilot. He had Palm apps that you could get and download. The DMX Calc was one of them. But this has been the most handy one. The thing I like about it is you can do things in different blocks. You can set blocks if you need to. It gives you absolute addresses. Give you the dip switch if you need the dip switch. And it's got a great DMX percentage to hexadecimal to whatever the MIDI is. But essentially it'll tell you it'll translate your DMX for you. So like 99% is either going to be 252 or 253, depending on what it is. And then you can just look at different blocks. Whatever block you set up, you can look at, see what those blocks are when you're trying to figure out how you're gonna set your DMX addresses on your moving lights. Okay, DMX Calc, one of my favorites. Another one, I showed this in the Stage Manager app, and I want to show it again here. But Barbizon Lighting Company came out with a handbook many years ago, and it's just a great app with a whole bunch of electro formulas, lamp shapes, color temperature, color conversions, all kinds of amazing stuff. Pipe sizes, truss, knots, USITT lighting symbols, of course, one of my favorites. But it's an amazing reference app. I do find myself using it every once in a while. Now the cool thing is, a few years ago, they originally, when they did this, they just really scanned in their paper copy. If you haven't gotten their paper copy, get one from Barbizon. But they really taken it out to the next level. But the cool part they added the other day was tools. So you can do beam calculations, and again, color reference. You can go back and it will show you references for different color. I haven't done this before. I want to do this real quick and just see what it looks like. So amber, there's all the different ambers that they have. So again, Barbizon is another great tool. Gobo apps. There used to be a Gobo app out there by it was called Moray Gobo app. It was by the same people who made the Gel Swatch app, but it's defunct now. There aren't a ton of them. Most manufacturers want you to go to their website to look at it, but Apollo hasn't. They've actually put their Gobos on their own individual app, and you can search. I just did a search I did a vanity search of my last name. I know I have 2 Gobos in there, so I can look at that Gobo. If I want to, I can stack 2 Gobos on top of each other, and I just can't do it with this one right now. But these are the 2 apps that I have in there. Sorry, I'm just trying to get these 2 together. Okay, so that's iGobo by Apollo. Other apps, Photometrics app. This is one I've just recently downloaded, where you can put in just some basic photometric data, and it's going to calculate your throw distances for you. This one has, but it's got some other one. Like I said, I haven't played with that one that much. I'm going to go ahead and shut that one off. Okay. That's Photometrics. I talked about Lightright Touch a minute ago. I'm not going to call it up because I don't have a show loaded on it right now. It's one I used it a little bit in the beginning when I first bought it. Haven't used it as much. If you don't have a laptop and you want to change your Lightright data while you're in the field, Lightright Touch is a great way to do it. You do have to import it in and then export it out, which is just an extra step. We've gotten lazy recently with Vectorworks, with it being a seamless thing where it uses an XML file, and just getting between devices is not challenging. It can easily be done. It just adds a little extra step. So I do recommend Lightright Touch. It's a little more expensive app. It's $50, but if you're a pro and you're out there using it, it's definitely worth doing. Okay, some other apps. Let's see. I think these are all of Shadow Magic. I'm just going to show you real quick. That's this one. You can go in and you can actually. It's kind of like a Light Lab. You can you can go in and you can change different colors. You can turn different lights on and off. I just happen to pick the default scene real quick. But it's kind of like a virtual light lab. I haven't gotten into it too much yet, but it's out there for you. It's a couple bucks. Other apps, I'd highly recommend getting yourself some good electrical calculator apps. They're just great to have. It's hard to remember all those formulas. All right, before I get moving too much further, last apps I'm going to talk to you about are just some different control apps. There are a million of these out here, and I've tried most of them, ranging from free to $100. And it just depends on your situation. Now, I work in a house where I have EOS. I actually have my own EOS Nomad, and so I've been doing a lot more with that. And I'm using it with the iPad quite a bit, whether it be it through the app or using my iPad as a second screen for my EOS. But there's a couple I want to show you real quick. First is the EOS app itself. Obviously, I'm not going to load anything on real quick because I don't have a show currently on. But that's a great app for just turning the lights on and off. Use it for channel check. I actually use it for focus. I love it for focus. It makes things go really quick. But it's an expensive app. It's another one of those $50 apps. Remember though, whenever you buy that though, when you purchase it, it actually goes to a good cause. In this case, I chose Behind the Scenes, and there's a European version one as well. You can choose either app. It's the same app. It just depends on where you want your money to go, your charity money to go to. It's more robust. It handles moving lights a lot better. But what's really cool is ETC went out and they took the Classic app, and they, and again, I can't log in because I don't have a show right now, but they took the Classic app. They're giving it away for free now. And what's great about that is at least got a cue list you can look at. And it can turn lights on and off a lot, and it's become even much easier than when it first came out. The other two I'm going to end with are, a Q-Track I just bought today. Haven't had time to play with it. Again, don't have something connected to. It just tells you what queue you're in EOS, which is kind of nice. So I'm looking forward to playing with that. Shift Label is another app that will, it can be a remote for your EOS console. One of the cool things is there's that one, and there's Shift Patch. Patch, you can actually go and look at your patch, and you can change your patch, which is something you can't do in the regular ETC app. One of these two, I can't remember which one it is. It's either this one or the other one. You can actually, if you have the right settings. Now at school, I can't do it because I don't have the right settings, but at TOY, which is Theater of Youth, I can actually see what my channels are, what intensity levels are, which is something you can't necessarily do with the EOS app. Q1, that's one I had tried before in the past. I was just trying to load it today. It's not working right now. It's just been crashing on my iPad, but it's a great review. It's a great, quick and easy OSC remote. There are other OSC remotes out there now. And Q1 I actually found on Android first, and I used it on Android, and then I brought it over to this. FocusMate, again, I need to try it again, but I don't think it's been updated in a while. FocusMate was great. It's actually meant to be an Apple Watch lighting app, and it does voice control where you can call channels on up and down. All right, that's the very quick 13-minute version of my favorite lighting apps. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. And again, this is just to sort of whet your appetite and show you what's out there. Thanks.